Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod Science classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 19th February 2021. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 9 articles which are very much relevant to UPSC. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see first article. Title says Hyderabad, only Indian city to win global tree city status. So this article is very important regarding development point of view. So now let us see context and as well as some important details which are highlighted in this article. And we are also going to see what is this tree city status in detail. So you can expect some questions regarding this tree city in your prelims. So this topic is especially important regarding prelims, not for mains. So if you see context, it mainly says that Hyderabad city has received another feather in its cap by giving chosen as one among 3 cities of the world by Arbor Day Foundation with collaboration with FAO. So in this context, what is important? You have to remember, so which organization has released this 3 cities of world? So it is by Arbor Day Foundation along with FAO, it is United Nations one organization. So why Hyderabad got this status? Because in response to its commitment for growing and as well as maintaining urban forestry. So because of this reason now Hyderabad is in 3 cities of the world. So if you see some details which are given in this article, it mainly says that. So recognition mainly stands Hyderabad alongside 120 cities from 23 countries. Among these 23 countries, out of these 120 cities, our Hyderabad from our country that had these 3 cities of the world. So it also includes some cities mainly from developed nations like USA, UK, Canada, Australia, etc. So how these cities were evaluated? So these are evaluated mainly based on 5 parameters. First one is establish responsibility, set the rules, know what you have, allocate resources and celebrate achievements. So these are 5 basic indicators on which this 3 cities of world which come up. So now let us see some facts regarding this article. So the 3 cities of the world program is committed to inspire cities as well as towns to care for and to celebrate their urban tree canopy. So mainly it is talking about urban tree canopy. So why we need urban forest here? So because of increase in migration from rural areas to urban areas, so this is ongoing trend now. Mostly rural people, they started migrating to urban areas. So because of this, there is increase in population density in urban areas. So because of increase in population density, whenever they want to move from one place to another place, so there is increased use of private vehicles that happened. So because of increased usage of private vehicles, that is increased release of greenhouse gases into atmosphere, that is leading to increased atmospheric temperature, correct? So because of this urban tree canopy will plays an important role mainly to control these emissions, correct? And next one is, if you are talking about urban forest, they help a defined sense of place and as well as being where people live, work, play and learn. So for maintaining of proper health of people who are living in this urban environment, so urban forest plays an important role here because they takes carbon dioxide and they releases oxygen, correct? So this oxygen is very important for life sustaining. So this urban forest that mainly defines a sense of place as well as being where people live, work, play, learn, etc. And if you're talking about some facts regarding these 3 cities of world, so this program, it is an international effort mainly to recognize cities as well as towns which are committed to ensure urban forest and as well as trees, they are properly maintained and sustainably managed and also duly celebrated. So this is the importance of this tree city. So what is this tree city actually? Tree city, it is a community and it must meet 5 core standards as we discussed earlier. And these 5 core standards mainly illustrates a commitment to caring for its trees and as well as forest in urban areas. So what is goal? The goal here is mainly to connect cities around the world in a new network which are mainly dedicated to share and as well as to adopt more successful approaches here. So mainly that is regarding management of community trees and as well as forest in urban areas. So these are some important things that you should remember regarding this article. Now let us see next article. Title says polluted air killed 554,000 in Delhi. So this article mainly talking about air pollution in Delhi and impacts of air pollution on health. So this article will be important regarding health, which comes under GS paper 2, and also environment and ecology, which comes under GS paper 3. Now let us see context as well as some important details which are highlighted in this article. So if you see context, it mainly says that air pollution claimed approximately 54,000 lives in Delhi in 2020. So this is data which is given according to Greenpeace Southeast Asia. It came up with a report. Name of that report is Analysis of Cost of Economy Due to Air Pollution. So in this report of analysis of cost of the economy due to air pollution by this Greenpeace Southeast Asia, so it mainly revealed that this air pollution claimed about 54,000 lives in Delhi in year 2020. So this study mainly conducted in 6 Indian cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad and Lucknow. So this report also said that across globe, that is globally, about 1,60,000 deaths they have been attributed because of this particulate matter 2.5, and 5 most populous cities in India, in world, they mainly contributed for this 1,60,000 deaths because of this particulate matter 2.5. So those 5 populous cities, they mainly includes Delhi, Mexico and Sao Paulo and as well as Shanghai and Tokyo. So if you see some details of this report, it mainly says that, so report name here is cost estimates. So in this cost estimator online tool, so it is one of online tool that estimates that real time health impact and environmental cost from this fine particulate matter 2.5. So because of this fine particulate matter, one of the important polluter of air, so this is one of leading cause for deaths here. So if you see, we are come up with this online tool, that is cost estimator. So in this cost estimator, this mainly uses real time ground level particulate matter 2.5 measurements. So it will use some algorithm. So whenever this algorithm is applied, so there is some result that will come like scientific risk models, like based on population and also public health data. Now we can come up with estimates regarding health and as well as economic cost of air pollution. So what will be impact of air pollution? So impact can be seen on 2 side headings. The first one is based on health and second one is how it will leads to economic loss. So as we know, because of air pollution, already if there are any people, elderly people, especially young people, young children, so who are facing some respiratory problems, so because of air pollution, the risk will be increased more. Correct? So because of COVID-19 also, whenever people suffering from COVID-19, they already will suffer from respiratory compromise. So because of air pollution, that will increase this risk of these people. So if you're talking about impact on health, that will also leads to loss of life. So this report mainly says that about 54,000 people in 2020 in Delhi, they lost life because of air pollution. And next one is it will also leads to economic loss here. So here this is the figure that is said, because of air pollution in 1 year, because of 54,000 people who lost their life, that will leads to economic loss this much. So how this air pollution, which is linked with economic loss and as well as loss of life. So because of air pollution, that is leading to loss of life. So because of loss of life, who are present in that age, for example, if you see, there are middle age group people, they died. So on this middle age group people, there are many dependents are present, for example, wife, children, elderly people. So who all are dependent on those person, then that person lost his life, then what happened? Who will take the burden of this family? So burden of this family that falls eventually on wife of that person, right? That is woman. So because of this, it will also leads to economic loss. Okay. So whatever contribution that is made by this person to our economy, that will be lost, right? And if you see in this context, what is need? The need here is we need to boost sustainable transport systems. We need to bring end to fossil fuel emissions. We need to move towards renewable energy, and we should act immediately. Government should act immediately to curb this air pollution in major cities. So this is just of this article. I hope it is clear. Now let us see next article. More roads on Arunachal border. So this article is important regarding international relations, which comes under GS paper 2. So now let us try to understand this article in great detail. So this article mainly talking about infrastructure development along Indo-China border in Arunachal Pradesh. So context says that Union government has given the go ahead for critical infrastructure development in Arunachal Pradesh state. So estimated cost of this project here is rupees 1100 crore. So these projects mainly include construction of roads and as well as 18 foot tracks which are measuring about 598 kilometers. So if you are talking some facts regarding this Arunachal Pradesh mainly shares longest border with China, followed by other countries like Myanmar and also Bhutan. So the pace of development along this China border in this Arunachal Pradesh, which picked after 2014 only. So earlier there are many projects that have come up by government, they are stalled. But now after 2014, the pace of development projects in this Arunachal Pradesh that speed up. So if you see some projects, they include motorable road, mule tracks, and as well as facilities for portage. So now why we increased our pace of development here? Because recently ITBP, that is Indo-Tibetan Border Police, they took around 21 days to march on foot to last patrolling point at Arunachal Pradesh China border here. So because of lack of good infrastructure, good roads and as well as food tracks, it took about 21 days to march here till last patrolling point in Arunachal Pradesh. So if you are talking about on China side, they have good infrastructure projects, they had laid down good roads. So because of this, what happened? Whenever there is any warlike situations here China will come to this points very early than we are compared to that of India. So because of this, we need to go and we need to develop infrastructure in this border areas. Okay, so this is just of this article, and now let us see next article. Title says 25 lakh tons of sugar set for exports. It is the statement which is given by Indian Sugar Mills Association. So this article is important regarding economy, which comes under GS paper 3. So in this context, I want to give you a small homework. So you have to see where the sugar industries are present in India, because in geography, that is under GS1, in your earlier prelims and also in earlier mains questions, you got some questions regarding the sugar industries also. So because of this, when you see this type of industries or news, you have to locate them in a map and you have to get ready with that topic. Okay, so you have to draw a map and you have to mark where are the sugar industries that are present in India. Okay, and now let us see context. Here context says that about 25 lakh tons of sugar have been contracted for exports so far 2020 to 21 sugar season. So this article mainly says that there is decrease or contraction of exports of this sugar that is seen here. So this is according to ISMA, Indian Sugar Mills Association. So this article also says some facts or some details here. They include, according to market reports, they mainly said that about 7 lakh tons had been physically exported between October 1, 2020 to January 31st, 2021. So in this way, we are exporting large amount of sugar. So in this context, you need to revise about conversion of sugar to ethanol. So whenever we are converting the sugar to ethanol, what happened? We can go for decreasing of carbon emissions and we can achieve our goal of 10% ethanol blending in petrol. Okay, so you have to think this dimension also. Now let us see some facts regarding ISMA, that is Indian Sugar Mills Association. So this Indian Sugar Mills Association, it is a premier sugar organization in India, and it is mainly act as interface between government and as well as sugar industries. So they are both private and as well as public sugar industries. So what is important objective of this Indian Sugar Mills Association? The important objective here is to ensure that functioning and interest of both private and as well as public sugar mills, okay, mainly to ensure that it is functioning in and also interest of both public and as well as private sugar mills are secured. And next one is it is one of oldest industrial association in our country, and this was established in year 1932, and India entered the first sugar export market for first time in year 1957. So these are some prelims fact that you should remember regarding this okay, regarding this ISMA. And now let us see next article. Title says the pressing need to adjudicate, not to mediate. So this article is very important regarding polity. So you need to remember here, Supreme Court recently came up with 2 judgments, okay. Recent judgment of Supreme Court, it mainly acted as mediation between government and protesters here. So author mainly says that it is not duty of court to mediate between government and protesters here. Here duty of Supreme Court, it is to adjudicate. It need to see into this issue whether it is according to our constitution or not. So it need to interpret the laws and final decision should be given by court. So the court work, it is not to just mediate but it need to adjudicate here, okay. So this is some background of this article, and this topic is very important regarding mains point of view. Now let us see some context and as well as some important details regarding this article, and today's mains question is also based on this topic itself. So if you are talking about some background here, recently Citizenship Amendment Act, protest against the CAA and as well as farmers protest are seeing here. So in this context, Supreme Court mainly said that it is going to mediate, okay, it is going to mediate here, but author mainly says that it should not mediate but it should adjudicate here. It should adjudicate and it should interpret the laws whether it is according to constitutional provisions or not. Later on, final decision that to be given by Supreme Court. So just mediation, it is not work of courts. So if you are talking about context here, so recent judgment of Supreme Court, it mainly refused to review its earlier verdict on Shaheen Bagh protest. It is inseparable from its political context here. So regarding the Shaheen Bagh protest, Supreme Court gave judgment on October 7, 2020. So in that verdict, it declared that there is no absolute right to protest, correct? So as we know, we have fundamental rights in our part 3 of our Indian Constitution, and these fundamental rights are not absolute. Here government can impose some reasonable restrictions on these fundamental rights. So in this context, in Supreme Court verdict of October 7, 2020 declared that there is no absolute right to protest. So it could be subjected to the orders of authority regarding place and as well as time. In which place this protest is happening, in which time it is happening. For example, if it is happening on any road, it is mainly obstructing movement, free movement of vehicles here. If at all there is any ambulance which is moving here, so whenever there is any protest happening here, so it will affect life of person who is present in that ambulance. So if at all any school bus which is going there or any milk van is going there, so in this way, based on place and as well as time, here Supreme Court mainly said that it could be subjected to orders of authority regarding place and as well as time. So apart from thinking about legal and as well as constitutional issues, whether that protest which is happening peacefully or not, here Supreme Court went for mediation here, okay. Apart from thinking from legal and as well as constitutional issues, so this judgment mainly led to disclosure of moral authority. That means whenever any ambulance which is moving in that place, so if at all protest is happening, so movement of ambulance will be stopped. So because of this, it will affect life of that person who is present in that ambulance. So if at all any milk van is moving there, if at all any school bus which is moving there, so in that way court mainly referred about this moral authority, moral thing, rather than seeing into legal and as well as constitutional issues here. So in this way, now questions regarding fundamental questions regarding to freedoms that will come into existence. So if you see about this Constitutional Amendment Act and as well as farmer laws, so that protest mainly regarding these two things that led to immense agony and as well as hardship here. So regarding these farm laws, so farmers who are protesting, they experienced suffering over almost entire winter, okay, and they mainly believe that as one that concerns whole nation here. So these farmers from especially Punjab, Haryana and Western UP, they are mainly protesting. But they are thinking that there is not their own problem but also problem of entire country, and even in this chilling winter they continued their protest. Okay. So now court, that is, need to review these law, because right to protest, it is a fundamental right. So in this context, court should not depress, court should not suppress this protest, but court need to adjudicate here. Okay. So if you are talking about this farmers protest here, so whenever any person who is doing protest in that farmer protest, especially many members, many people, they are subjected to malicious prosecution, some serious charges of sedition and as well as terrorist activities, correct? And not only protesters but also supporters like comedians, journalists, they are also subjected to this prosecutions, correct? So because of this article 19, which talks about freedom of expression to peaceful association, which is seriously impaired here. So if you are talking about original judgment of this Shaheen Bagh case, so court mainly attempted to mediate the issue and admitted in judgment here. So it does not produce any final solution for that case here. So important duty of court here, it is to adjudicate, not to mediate. So court should come up with a fair and as well as effective adjudicative mechanism in constitutional matters rather than mediating between government and as well as protesters. So whenever courts are mediating with this government and protesters, final solution will not be get. Again, these types of problems that may reoccur in our near future. So because of this here, government duty, it is mainly to adjudicate matters but not mediating these matters. Now let us see some facts regarding this right to protest. If you are seeing this right to protest, so under which article it will comes? So if you are talking about fundamental rights, they are present in part 3 of our Indian Constitution, correct? So article 19 subclass 1 subclass 1A, which talks about freedom of speech and expression, and article 1 subclass B mainly talks about right to assemble peacefully without arms. But there are some reasonable restrictions that can be imposed based on article 19 subclass 2. They include interest of sovereignty, integrity of India, and as well as maintaining of public order. So these are some important facts that you should remember regarding this article. Now let us see next article. Before seeing this article, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. We came up with this current affairs package course. In this course, we are mainly focusing on current affairs and also mains answer writing practice. So if you ask me what is importance of current affairs, about 50 to 60% of questions, either it may be prelims or mains or even interview, you can get questions from this current affairs. If you are getting any static questions, so they are mainly related to this current affairs. So mastering of current affairs, it is very important to clear UPSC. And if you are talking about this mains answer writing practice, without proper answer writing skills, you cannot clear UPSC for sure. So when you started your preparation on day 1 onwards, you have to focus on this answer writing. And if you are enrolling to this course, we also provide you prelims practice questions on week basis along with video solutions. So in this way, this course is exactly focusing on what is demand of UPSC. So finally, I want to say one thing. Please don't take this course as a choice. Please try to join this course as soon as possible and achieve your dream of clearing UPSC. So for further details, please contact us. Details are given in description box. Now let's come back and let us see next article. Title says East India criminalizing comedy and entertainment. So this article mainly talking about comedy and entertainment. So now let us try to understand this article in very great detail. I will try my level best to make you understand this. So why this comedians and entertainment is in news now? So if you see some context here, recently stand-up comedians, they are becoming target for legal actions. So this is increasing trend now we are seeing. So most of the standing comedians, they are becoming target to legal action. For example, we can say Kunal Kamra. So regarding this Kunal Kamra, Supreme Court imposed contempt of court. And second person here is Munwar Faruqi. He spent more than 1 month in jail. So why these incidents are increasing here? So article mainly says that all of sudden comedians, they seem to offending everybody's feeling. So because of this, there is increase in case. But if you see view of author mainly said that, so it does he doesn't think this is all of sudden. So this is not all of sudden. So if you see, analyze the reasons why there is increasing case of comedians coming into news now, because earlier there are some platforms are present. So to this platform, people, they used to pay ticket and they used to go to these platforms and they used to enjoy their jokes which are said by these comedians here. Okay, who will go to these places by paying this ticket fee? Only lead people, correct? So lead people, they go to certain platforms mainly to have some entertainment from these comedians. But if you see, because of this COVID-19, so there is restriction on engaging of people, right? So what happened now, because of COVID-19, now these comedians, they started using this internet, especially in YouTube here. So because of this, some mainstream comedians, they began to attract huge amounts of outrage here. So what happened, if at all there is one platform and daily some people are attending that shows and they will having some entertainment means, so comedian who is playing role here, they can use same content every day. But what happened, whenever they are using internet, so now most of these YouTube channels or YouTube content is very free, correct? So it is free of cost. So because of this large amount of people, they started coming and they are having some entertainment in this YouTube. So because of this, they cannot use same content every day. Because of this, they started to explore different topics. For example, they started using or commenting about politics, political leaders, religion, etc. So because of this, it is mainly having some negative impact on comedians here. For example, if you see All India Bagchut, so it is a successful campaign regarding net neutrality here. So what is net neutrality here? So to understand this net neutrality, I will give you a small example by taking an example of park. So for example, if I am going to this park, I am paying entry of 500 rupees. Okay, I am paying entry ticket 500 rupees and I am entering into this park. So in this park, there is gym is there is swimming pool is there, and there are some toys to play, everything is there. So after paying this 500, it is free. I can use everything. If I want to swim, I can swim. If I want to do rain dance, I can do rain dance. If I want to do some exercise, I can do. If I want to swim, I can swim. So everything will be free. But if I went to a park here, I paid about 500 rupees for entry. And also if I need to pay again for swimming, again for rain dance, or again for gym, etc., then what will happen? So this type, it is called as net neutrality. For example, if you are taking an internet package, so for example, let us take 500 rupees per month with some amount of GB of internet every day. So when you are taking this internet, you can browse everything, right? So you can use Facebook, you can use Twitter, you can use WhatsApp, everything that can be used by you. For example, if there is anything like you have to take internet pack and you have to pay something to use Facebook, if you want to pay something to use this WhatsApp, something to use this Twitter, so this is called as net neutrality. Net neutrality means after taking some so and so pack, everything should be free. Every website should be open. There is no limitations to opening of other websites. So this is called as net neutrality. Regarding this All India Bagchut, it is mainly one of important successful campaign for this net neutrality. So if you're talking about especially comedy, so comedy, it is an art form mainly began to gain traction here. So this comedy that led to people doing satire, making some observations on society, and as well as questioning power structure, etc., mainly to create some comedy here. So now this comedy was no longer limited to elites, because earlier to enjoy this entertainment which is made by these comedians, mainly people used to pay entry ticket and they need to go to platforms. Now because of COVID-19, everything is made online, internet, YouTube, etc. So because of this, now this comedy, it is no longer limited to elite or lead people here. So because of this, now mass people, mass audience, they are also picking up of this entertainment channels. They are also enjoying this entertainment which is providing by these comedians on internet. So whenever it is reaching to mass public or mass audience here, now India has some rules and regulations here. For example, we have Indian Penal Code, we have Information Technology Act. If you are talking about IPC, there are some provisions mainly related to the offending religious sentiment and as well as criminal defamation law. And we also have some provisions for statements that amount to public misbehavior or mischief here. And if you are talking about Information Technology Act, government can punish correct, whenever there is any information that is not against, that is against this public order, then also we have Information Technology Act, we also have IPC here. So if you're talking about earlier, there is limited access to this comedians, that will mainly comes into entertainment, but because of now there is increased wider access of this comedians or entertainment, so it is also have some education purpose, so it is also edutainment here now. So now education is also included in this internet, because many school students, many college people, they are using this internet mainly to study or mainly to gain some knowledge here. So in this case, we need some balance between entertainment and also comedy and as well as education here. So this is gist of this article. I hope it is clear now. Now let us see next article. Title says Make Peace with Nature Now. So this article mainly talking about climate change. So this article is important regarding GS paper 3, okay, and this is important regarding mains point of view. So this is such a good article, it gave much insights regarding environment change. So now let us try to understand this article in great detail. So this article mainly said that there are 3 environment crises that are happening. So first one is climate change, second one is nature loss, third one is pollution of air, water and as well as soil. So because of these 3 environment crises, they cause mainly much more pain than we are comparing with this COVID-19. So because of COVID-19, we saw there is impact on health, impact on economy. So because of these 3 economic crises like climate change, nature loss, pollution of air and water and soil, that will lead to large amount of pain whatever this COVID-19 that resulted here. So if you see some data, it mainly says that in 2020 UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, that announced that despite dip or decrease in this greenhouse gases emission that is mainly caused by pandemic, so world still headed for global warming of more than 3 degrees Celsius in this century. So because of global pandemic or COVID-19, there is restricted movement of vehicles, right? So because of restricted movement of vehicles, because of imposition of lockdowns in almost all countries, that led to decrease in air pollution or decrease in greenhouse gas emissions, right? So because though there is decrease in greenhouse gas emissions because of this global pandemic, now world is mainly facing some global warming or increase in temperature that is about more than 3 degrees centigrade in this century. So because of this, United Nations Environment Program also warned that resources and services nature which is provided to humanity, that is mainly fallen by 40% in just 2 decades here. So whatever resource, whatever services that is provided by nature to humanity, it is called as per capita stock of natural capital. So this decreased by 40% in just 20 years. So in this way, staggering that about 9 out of 10 people worldwide, they are breathing polluted air here. So in this context, we need to talk about environment, social and as well as economic challenges. So when we are dealing with these problems individually, so it will be not a solution here, because these environment challenges, social challenges and economical challenges, they are interlinked. So when we want to tackle them better, they need to be tackled together. For example, if you are talking about the sustainable development goals, if these sustainable development goals are not achieved by 2030, if climate change and as well as ecosystem which is collapsed, so that will undermine food and as well as water supplies mainly in world's poorest countries. So if at all these sustainable development goals are not achieved, then many poorest countries which are present in world, they will face extreme food insecurities, extreme water insecurities, etc. So in this context, there is no choice but we need to transform our economies and as well as our societies by giving some value to our nature. So whenever we are moving towards environment related things or development related things, we need to also keep in mind about valuing our nature when we are taking any other decision here. So when we are also valuing nature, when we are taking up any economic activities or any societal developmental activities, so now whenever we are also focusing on this nature, then banks and as well as investors, they would stop financing this fossil fuels, but they will start to provide some finance to renewable sources, and government would to shift about trillions of dollars in subsidies to natural positive farming and as well as clean energy and water. Here government also it can provide some resources, move towards renewable energy and as well as move towards nature positive farming, clean energy and water. And also people need to prioritize health and as well as well-being over consumption, because there is shrinking of their environment footprint that is happening. So because of this, they need to focus on health and well-being rather than exploitation of our natural resources here. So this is gist of this article. I hope it is clear. Now let us see next article. Title says dizzying climb. So this article mainly talking about inflation. We discussed about this inflation number of times, right? So inflation means simply we can say there is increase in the price. Okay, price rise of goods and services in market, that is called as inflation. So this inflation is very important regarding GS paper 3 under economy. So this topic is important for both prelims and also even mains. Now let us try to understand this article in great detail. So if you're talking about types of inflation, there are mainly three types of inflation. First one is demand pull inflation. Second one is cost push inflation. Third one is built-in inflation. So if you're talking about this demand pull, so whenever demand of goods is increased, then what happen? Automatically prices will be increased. That means if any shop had about 100 breads, but if you see demand of this bread here is for 150. So because of increase in demand for already present goods, okay. So whenever demand which is more than production capacity, then in that condition we can say demand pull inflation. And next one is cost push. That means, for example, if you say for manufacturing of bread we need some raw materials, the cost of that raw materials is increasing. That means finally the bread cost will be increased. So this type of inflation is called as cost push inflation. And next one is built-in inflation. That means whenever prices of any commodities are rising, so in the same context what happened, wages of that people also will be increased. So whenever prices of goods and services that is increase in market, so according to that there will be increase in wages of people. So whenever increase in wages of people, they will hand some more money here. So instead of buying dal, they will go for buying chicken, paneer, etc. So because of this there will be increase in cost of that. So to understand this, I will give you example. So if there is a worker, he used to get about 10,000 rupees per month. So mainly to maintain his family and everything, so he need to go to buy and he will buy dal, okay. But what happened, increasing of salary of this person happened. So salary increased to 20,000. Then what happened, this person will go to market, instead of dal he will buy chicken. He will start purchasing chicken, he will start purchasing mutton, he will start purchasing some high quality goods to maintain standard of living, correct. So because of this, whenever increased number of people who are shifting towards other goods in market, then demand for that goods will be increased. So this is called as built-in inflation. So there are three types of inflations: demand pull, cost push and built-in. Now let us try to see why we are going to discuss this inflation here. So if you are talking about rise in prices of goods in market, from automobile to manufacturing to builders, here there is rising of raw material cost is increasing. So whenever raw material cost is increasing, that will leads to cost push inflation in market. So because of this, final price of goods and services that is increasing in market. So if you are talking about banks here, they are mainly focusing on how to flush liquidity. That means they came up with this accommodative policy, that is expansionary policy by RBI. So because of this expansionary policy of RBI, it's mainly focused to increase money supply in market. So already there is inflation or rise in price that is seen. So because of increase in money supply, it will further leads to increase in inflation. So it is mainly threat to macroeconomic stability. So this is some important thing which is discussed in this article. So now let us see what is this macroeconomy. So if you are talking about branches of economy, there are two important branches. First one is macroeconomy and second one is microeconomy. So there is a lot of difference between microeconomy and as well as macroeconomy. So macroeconomy means study of large economy as a whole. Micro means we are studying at individual level, okay. For me, so how much I am earning, so how much I am spending, only related to me, it is called as microeconomy. So if I am also adding with me, my family, my relatives as a whole, as a state as a whole, as a country as a whole, that will comes under macroeconomics. Okay, study of large economy as a whole, which is called as macroeconomics. So in this macroeconomics, we are analyzing everyone instead of analyzing one consumer. Instead of one business, we are analyzing different business which are present in our country. So this is called as macroeconomics. So if you are talking about how to control inflation, so here RBI will take some steps, here Government of India takes some steps. Here RBI, whatever steps are taken to control inflation, that is called as monetary policy. Here under this monetary policy, it can come up with interest rate like repo rate, reverse repo rate, etc. And also it comes up with some credit rates. And if you are talking about government side, government will come up with fiscal policy like increase or decrease in taxation and also increase or decrease in spending of money. Okay, so these are steps which are taken by RBI and as well as government to control inflation in market. So what are important goals of monetary policy and fiscal policy? Mainly to promote economic growth, mainly to control inflation and as well as social stability. So in this context, I want to say one thing. Here inflation control target here is 6 plus or minus 2%. Okay, 4 plus or minus 2%, that is 2 to 6%. So within this 2 to 6%, we need to maintain inflation in India. And now let us see next article. Title says end of an innings. So this article mainly talking about Lieutenant Governor in Puducherry. So this article will be important regarding polity point of view, which comes under GS paper 2. And now let us try to understand what is this issue, why this Kiran Bedi was removed here. Okay, so if you see here regarding this Puducherry or Pondicherry, there are 4 districts. So you have to open your atlas and you have to see where these 4 districts are present. These 4 districts are spread in 3 important states. First one is Andhra Pradesh. In Andhra Pradesh there is Annam, and in Kerala there is Mahe, and in Tamil Nadu there are 2 districts. First one is Karaigal, second one is Pondicherry. So if you see context, why this Pondicherry Lieutenant Governor, it is present in news because here removal of Kiran Bedi as Pondicherry's Lieutenant Governor, and also Telangana Governor, she gave appointment regarding this Lieutenant Governor in Pondicherry. So whenever there is removal of this type of Lieutenant Governor in Pondicherry, which provide a sense of relief mainly to elected government, which is mainly led by Congress here. So there are some differences between this Lieutenant Governor and elected government in Puducherry that is happening. So despite her laying emphasis mainly on sanitation, rejuvenation of water bodies, transparency and accountability, here Miss Bedi mainly ended up in eyes of public being someone who is disrupting administration. So whenever government elected, that is elected government, want to come up with any changes in administration, it is mainly prevented by this governor here, because governor need to give permission, right? So there are many differences between this governor and chief minister. Some of them include suspension of an official over obscenity on social media, and as well as to come up with helmet rule for two-wheeler riders, free ride scheme, appointment of a state election commissioner, and quota for government students in medical admission, even the manner of release of money from CM's fund. So in these cases, there are some differences between CM and as well as governor here. So because of this, that led to war of words between these two people. So because of this, what happened, there is removal of this lieutenant governor. So in this context, she should have shown some consensual approach on matters which are affecting this public directly. Though Lieutenant Governor, she is a president's nominee, she enjoys powers which are superior than those compared to that of the Chief Minister and Council of Ministers here. Here now what happened here? Here removal of Kiran Bedi, that happened, and now Telangana Governor assuming charge, which is ordered. Okay, and Telangana Governor also ordered for this floor test. So what is floor test? Here if at all there is elected government is present, they have to prove majority in house. Okay, so this is called as a floor test. So if you are talking about appointment of governor, there is article 153. Article 153 mainly says that there shall be governor for each state. So these are some important facts that you should remember regarding this article. Now let us see mains question. So explain the significance of the right to protest in a democracy, and answer should not be more than 150 words. By this we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to enroll this current affairs package course. Thank you so much.